thank you to the media for joining us this afternoon at the Baton Rouge Real-Time Crime Center. I know you've heard us talk a lot about the Real-Time Crime Center, and now you're here. Along with me is Chief Murphy Paul, Lieutenant Joel Callahan, the commander of the Real-Time Crime Center, and Gary Patterow of the Sherwood Forest Crime Prevention District. As Mayor President, I'm committed, and you've heard me say this before, to bringing 21st century policing to our community. That means making the right kind of investments that will protect our residents and give our police officers the tools that they need to keep us safe. With that in mind, we are launching 2 public safety initiatives today. Both programs use technology to create what I would call a virtual neighborhood watch. The first initiative has been several years in the making, with many of you doing stories about it recently as we neared completion. The Sherwood Forest Crime District camera program is now connected to the Baton Rouge Police Real-Time Crime Center. 3 intersections are streaming live to the monitors behind me, with another 13 coming online in coming weeks. This is a partnership with the Mayor's Office, Chief Paul, and the Sherwood Forest Crime District, which is the largest crime district in Louisiana. Using state-of-the-art crime cameras and license plate readers, every entrance and exit of the Sherwood Forest neighborhood will have around-the-clock live video feed here at police headquarters, with the ability for our officers to play back video at any time. So in other words, if someone enters the neighborhood to commit a crime, we will have video of them. This is a big step for public safety in our community, one that would not be possible without the support and partnership of our citizens. These cameras and license plate readers were not paid for with taxpayer money from the general fund. Instead, they were investments by the residents of Sherwood Forest, who partnered with our administration and the Baton Rouge Police Department. I'm going to say that again. The Sherwood Forest neighborhood purchased the cameras and then worked with us to connect it to our crime center. This initiative certainly, I believe, will be the envy of other neighborhoods throughout the capital region, and it will serve as a pilot program for other crime districts in Baton Rouge who also want to connect their crime cameras to the police department. In fact, thanks to the Sherwood Forest Crime District, we now have the equipment needed for other neighborhoods with cameras to plug in. Now, I said this is a big step, but it's only a start. Having cameras on the perimeter of a neighborhood will certainly help deter crime for those who live there. But what if your home or business is in another part of the community? Well, today we're also announcing the launch of a second public safety initiative, the Connect Blue Baton Rouge directory. Any business or residence in Baton Rouge with an outdoor security camera facing the public street can now provide access to the video upon request of the Baton Rouge Police Department. If a crime happens near your home or your business, the directory will allow police to quickly contact you and request your video. It's a very easy process to join the Connect Blue directory, and I encourage you to do it today, especially with the holiday season upon us. You can join at brla.gov Connect Blue. That's brla.gov/Connect Blue. Now together, these 2 programs create a virtual neighborhood watch, a smart approach to public safety using the technology many of us already have. And it's also a part and one of the pillars of 21st century policing. There's also a third program we have to announce in a few months that will allow homes and businesses to connect their outdoor public-facing security cameras directly to the Real-Time Crime Center. That program is still several months away, so stay tuned. Now, before I turn it over to Chief Paul to discuss the significance of these programs, and Lieutenant Joel Callahan, the commander of the Real-Time Crime Center, who will demonstrate the new technology, I want to first acknowledge our community partners with us today. Gary Patterow, who has worked so hard with us to make this initiative a reality. Gary has been active in our community for 30 years and is the embodiment of civic duty. He is the past chairman of the Federation of Greater Baton Rouge Civic Associations, and he's the founder of that organization's Crime District Committee, representing 33 neighborhoods. He's also the current chairman of the Terra and Sherwood Forest Crime Districts. Gary is passionate about creating a safer community, and he has tirelessly advocated for these programs. So I'm real proud to have him here today, and I'm proud of the partnership. This is a great example of what we talk about so often, community and law enforcement working hand in hand together to create that peace, prosperity, and progress that we talk about so often. And so the other end of the partnership, of course, are the men and women of the Baton Rouge Police Department, both here in the crime center and in our community. Their professionalism and service moving the department forward is certainly noted here today as we focus on 21st century policing. I also want to acknowledge our many utility partners, including Motorola Solutions, who has a representative here today, I believe. Then there's Entergy, Cox, Intellicom, and LaTex. Finally, I have to acknowledge the hard work of our City Parish Information Services Department under the leadership of Eric Romero, our IS director. They're the ones who keep the technology wheels turning around here. And so with all that said, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Paul, then Mr. Patterow, then Lieutenant Callahan, and then we'll answer any questions that you might have. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor President. The conception of the Real-Time Crime Center started back in 2018 when I first took over this organization and was blessed with this opportunity. But you know, since then, one of our own Baton Rouge police officers constructed this facility that we're in. It was built by a Baton Rouge police officer. And we've also been developing the infrastructure to leverage community-owned technology by forming partnerships across Baton Rouge. When I began having meetings with community members as I got out the office to interact, I knew early on that I wasn't the smartest one in the room. And listening to others like Gary, who is not only passionate, but he's also a visionary. Immediately, our visions aligned, and we began to set up this neighborhood safety plan that you're going to hear about. The Sherwood Forest cameras are only the first of many that we hope to add to the program over the next year as other neighborhoods, other businesses, and citizens join this initiative. The Connect Blue Baton Rouge directory is only one of several technology tools that we've put in place in the Real-Time Crime Center to adopt smarter 21st century policing practices. This initiative represents our ongoing commitment to efficient and effective policing, including the use of valuable technology. I want to thank Gary for his patience, his perseverance to get this project completed. But I want to say that this here starts at the top. It really does. And I have to think, because all of the things that we talk about here, it has to start at the top. The Center for Digital Government names Baton Rouge the 5th most digital city in the U.S. 5th most digital city in the U.S. The Center for Digital Government Experience Award, another award that we've received, and the IDC Government Insights Smarter Cities North America Award. Those improvements are not possible if you don't have buy-in from the top. Simple. Those improvements are not possible. And we are fortunate to have leadership that embraces technology and understands how critical innovation is for the growth of our city, not only for us, but for our kids and for many generations to come. So I want to thank you, Mayor President Broome, for your leadership and your vision in making the city of Baton Rouge not only a smart city, but also a leader in innovation. We appreciate your leadership, Mayor. And I'm going to turn it over to Gary. Gary?
So first, let me just say that I'm a member of 7 commissioners, all crime districts, so 33 in the parish of East Baton Rouge. They have 7 commissioners, and I want to introduce Don Hogan. He is the vice chair of the commission. And we've been working together for a number of years to develop this vision. This vision took a different direction when Mayor Broome became mayor, and particularly when the chief became chief. We had shared our vision with the mayor's office in early 2018, and right there in the mayor's office, we picked up the phone and we called the chief. And within 2 weeks, I was sitting down in a conference room with 15 different police officers, and the evolution began at that point in time. So what originally started off as what you typically see in subdivisions, remember I'm the chair of 2 crime districts, and the camera system that we have in Terra, which is a good camera system, it's a reactive camera system. It became, at that moment, a proactive camera system. And that was the genesis of creating a pilot program with the city of Baton Rouge, with the police department, and a neighborhood, Sherwood Forest. And so at that point in time, this was in 2018, we were still recovering from the flood, and originally our program was designed to be phased in over a period, but we'd been saving our money, and we decided at that point in time that we'd be able to do the entire project at once, all 16 entrances with both the cameras and the license plate readers. So there's 2 tools that we're using, and you'll see a little bit more about the tools when Lieutenant Callahan speaks. And so this really is the next evolution of crime fighting, and as the mayor said, of citizens' participation in this initiative. And so we've already begun to register our street-facing cameras in Sherwood Forest. As she talked about, we have some already registered. Our residents in Sherwood Forest, our residents in Terra, are excited about this prospect, and they are now beginning to register now that they're able to do so. And so I think that's what you're really going to see throughout East Baton Rouge Parish is a combination of citizen, police, law enforcement initiative to help fight crime, and then not only to fight crime, but to catch the criminals. That's important for us. We've done a very good job of catching criminals, the ones that prey upon the citizens in Sherwood Forest and certainly East Baton Rouge Parish. When you have somebody who does certain things, they just don't do it in one neighborhood, they do it in multiple neighborhoods per se. So with that, that's really how the evolution started. It was as I said, in 2018, it took a very different tact. We were able to brainstorm with a lot of people, and we put those thoughts together in one concerted vision. As the mayor said, we have had a lot of hurdles to go through, to jump, and hopefully, as a pilot program, those neighborhoods that follow us will not have to jump those same hurdles, and that's very important. The whole concept of a pilot program. So one of the things that the mayor mentioned is that we have purchased a server through this program that other neighborhoods will be able to plug cameras and license plate readers into as they go forward, so they won't have to have that direct purchase. So again, I think we have created a good model. We're just about to the end of it, and now you're going to get to see. I think Lieutenant Callahan's going to come up and he's going to talk to you a little bit about how the system actually works. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. I'm Lieutenant Joel Callahan. I'm the commander of the Real-Time Crime Center. It's exciting to be here. It's exciting to see the collaborative effort that we've made with the community, the police department, the government itself. I have a very tough job. To show you how to register, the first thing we'll talk about is our directories. To show you how it is and just how easy we've made it, any smartphone, there's a couple of different things. You can go to our website, the brla.gov, or any smartphone, click it, and we come into our website. Now, when we go there, Rob, will you pull up the form for me? It's kind of hard to see on the phone. It brings you immediately to the form that we're going to ask you to fill out. Now, this information will be helpful for us. It'll be very vital to know if you're in the area where a crime occurred or if a suspect vehicle came by or anything else along those lines. But one of the key things we want to say is you put your information in. It's going to be vetted by police officers before we put the information out. This information will not be available to the public. It's something that we'll use here. And our vision right now is to send emails to the area and say, hey, we had this happen in this area. Can you check your cameras? And if it comes up where you do have something on your camera, we'll send a police officer out to collect it, put it on a disk, or put it on a thumb drive, and we'll bring it back and put it into some of our other systems so we can see what it is. But it's some standard questions, some things that we need to know. How many cameras do you have? Where do they point? There's also an option in here that you could take pictures of your cameras to show us where they are so we'll know better what cameras would be the most correct ones for us to ask for. So this is our directory. It's on our website, QR codes. In the next week or so, there'll be pamphlets coming out. We'll have them civic associate or civic meeting places, stores, things like this, so you can see it, shoot it, and download your information. And it takes less time to do than it does to talk about. So it's a very simple system. Now, the Sherwood Forest crime cameras, we have 3 of them up right now, and this is the cameras that you're watching here. It was very interesting earlier today. A couple of the media folks were out there shooting some pictures, and we were able to kind of spy on y'all a little bit and see what's going on. But they do work. And these are 3 of the 16 that will be up and running in the next couple of weeks. They also have the ability, we talked a little bit about license plate readers. The license plate reader is a system by Boss, the PIP system, and it's a passive camera that reads license plates. Information can be put in there. It's searchable. We can get historical data to be able to follow a vehicle or find a lost person, or we've had several cases in the last few months where somebody that maybe had diminished mental capacity left from home, and we were able to track them and use that. So that's one of the things that this system, in conjunction with the cameras, not only can we see it in real time, we can see who went there. And it'll help us as a tool to build this virtual neighborhood watch program that's going to be so important for our community. The last thing that I'll talk about is just a little tease, is we have our camera share program that the mayor talked about. It's coming in the next few, probably 3 or 4 months, and you'll have the ability to register your camera with our system so we could use your stuff, your video, without you having to look at it, put it on a thumb drive or something like that to call us to come pick it up. We'll be able to look at that historically and figure out what it is that we need. Mayor?
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Lieutenant. Now we'll take questions, but before we take questions, let me say this. I'm very excited that this is the epitome of what we've talked about in terms of community and police working together. I have had calls from individuals, one in particular that comes to my mind, about their crime prevention district dollars. I think this is an excellent way for the crime prevention district dollars to be utilized. As you know, there's some latitude and flexibility in using those dollars, but now the citizens of those neighborhoods can say, you know what, I'm taking a look at this pilot program that exists here and perhaps advance this for their crime prevention district, for their neighborhood. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Mayor, yes, so obviously we have a few days left between now and December 5th, Election Day. How important is it for you to get this message across, the greater issue of how you've handled crime here in Baton Rouge, to the public before that?
Yeah, so first of all, I am still the mayor president, and this is an issue that we have been working on for quite some time. And so the culmination is happening during this season, but I'm glad that we're doing it now because today is December 1st. And as you know, pretty soon it's Christmas. And you know, before Christmas, people are out and about, and unfortunately, some bad actors are also out and about. whether it's picking up packages sometimes at folks' homes or other bad behavior. So I think it's very timely, apart from the fact that December the 5th is approaching.
I have a question for Gary. Can you just talk about why Sherwood Forest, to kind of start here, what was going on in the neighborhood to want something like this?
Sure, and this is how most crime districts work. So you have to go to your residents of your district. You have to see if they want something like a crime district. You have to pass legislation and so on. And we did that. We began the process in 2013. As the mayor said, this is an ongoing process. In 2013, we talked about one of the things that we would do with these funds would be to create a camera system, and so. While it took us a while to do that, the original concept was to have a phased-in concept, but then we had the 2016 flood, and over half of our neighborhood flooded, and severely, in much of the neighborhood. And so we had to step back, we had to refocus how we were spending our dollars, and so what ended up happening is that we were able to, right around 2018, we were beginning to have the funds with the ability to be able to do the entire program at once. And so that's the direction that we went. Again, as I said, it was our first program was going to be a reactive system. And then with the concept of working with the administration and the police department, it became a proactive system. And that way, that really is the model. That's why we ended up being the pilot program for this.
Well, I mean, in terms of like the people who live there, did they come up to you and say, hey, we're noticing some thefts happening, or the reason why they wanted cameras and all that?
Yes. If anybody ever been here on Nextdoor, I mean, if you see one event on Nextdoor, it's like there was well, I'll just be frank. Last night there were 4 vehicle burglaries in Terra, and I'm the chair of the Terra Crime District. And so when something like that happens, it's an immediate reaction throughout, the neighborhood. We need this. We need that. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. They're not doing this. And so that's really, absolutely, people came to us and said, we want to feel safer within our neighborhood. You can see in Sherwood Forest, if you look at the map of Sherwood Forest, there are crimes that happen, worse crimes than happen in Sherwood Forest around our borders, and people wanted to feel safe. So they did come to us and they said, we would like, we want those cameras you promised us in 2013.
Yeah, like you said, most crime happens around borders. Do you think it's people coming in that don't live in that neighborhood?
I think that for the majority of our crime, yes, it's more people that come in the neighborhood. We have some very small crime that happens within the neighborhood. I know this, package theft, things like that. No major crime within the neighborhood. Frankly, we've had some houses that have had drug issues within the neighborhood. And so that's when we've worked with the police department to try to eliminate those things. So that's the actual type of crime that we have. Per capita, it's very low in Sherwood Forest. But you remember, we have 3,147 homes. So we are not only are we the largest crime district in the state of Louisiana, we are the largest neighborhood in the state of Louisiana. So yes, people want to feel safe. This makes them feel safe. It also helps raise property values within a neighborhood, because when you have a system like this, that's a selling feature, to move into that neighborhood, is that they have this type of system. You're going to be safe. Now, one of the things that both the chief and the mayor have talked about was the interior cameras, the camera share program. That's when we first started off. It was called the camera share program. Now it's evolved into Connect Blue. So neighborhoods across, crime districts across East Baton Rouge Parish are now creating what we call in Sherwood Forest the Interior Camera Network, ICN. And so we're able to take homeowner video, just as the chief described, and then we're able to go back, and we'll be able to go back to digital defensive perimeter, and we can find the license plate of that. So you got to understand the power of it. It's not just pictures of people going by. We're actually going to be able to solve crime. We're going to be able to. So in Terra, last night in Terra, we know what vehicle it was. We can see it in several different homeowner videos. Ring doorbells, homeowner security systems. We know it was a white SUV, and now we went to our cameras, got the license plate, and now we're tracking that license plate. And the power of the LPR is that you'll be able to track that vehicle as it moves throughout the city. So that's the future of 21st century crime or crime prevention.
Any other questions?
Can you describe the difference between a reactive system and the proactive system?
Sure. So most subdivisions right now, most home or business security systems, they record video. So in this system, these cameras are actually smart cameras that will allow you from this center, from the RTCC, to go back in, and they'll be able to go back and forth, and they'll find, if they were looking for that white SUV at 1:30 in the morning, that's when the first one happened at 1:30, they left the neighborhood around 2:30, they'll be able to go back and they'll actually be able to keystroke in that white SUV entering Terra neighborhood at, let's say, at 1 a.m. And so they'll be able to search. They could go back to 2300 the day before, and then they'll be able to go forward. So, but that, that's the proactive part, is that they're going to be able to search that database. And as you see, again, there's two tools we didn't show you. These are the cameras, but that's the license plate reader over there. So you get images from the cameras, and then you get the license plate. Once you get the license plate, then you have tools to go back and do real policing.
So, do you guys have a response to people who might be worried about like the surveillance aspect or like a Big Brother type image coming from this?
No, let me be clear. This is a community-driven initiative, right? So that information is theirs, okay? We don't get involved until there's a crime, and then it becomes a part of a police record.
We're gonna do one more question, yes.
Yes, maybe for Gary. I wanted to ask you, was there any, like, a particular turning point for the neighborhood? And was there any particular certain moment exactly when they felt like we need to step it up, we need these cameras now? Even since y'all have been talking about them since 2013.
No, it really started. It really started in 2013 when we sold the initiative to our residents, that we wanted to be able to provide these cameras and the security system. So we've been focused on it ever since then. We got delayed by the flood, and then refocused, after the flood.
Can I do one more for Chief?
Yep.
Unfortunately, we're coming up to a year from a tragedy, involving Nessa Hartley. Do you think this system, is that going to help crimes like that? Do you think that would have helped back then?
Well, I think this initiative will definitely help proactively prevent crime with some of the technology. I know she asked the question, what makes it proactive? The technology in smart cameras can differentiate between color, between objects. So there's a lot of proactive things we can do with that and a license plate reader as well. I think hardening communities in certain areas has its benefits. I think that those who live in the Sherwood Forest and those who join this program will feel safer. And it will be another investigative tool. It's about efficiencies. Not only does it prevent, when a crime does occur, we actually have tools that we can go into and use technology to help solve those crimes a lot faster. Thank you.
Thank you all.